In retaliation for the English capture of Boulogne in 1544, in July 1545, the French attacked. They sailed into the Solent, that's the strait between the Isle of Wight and mainland England, with 324 ships. That's more ships than the Spanish Armada. It was the single greatest foreign threat of Henry VIII's reign. In this picture you can see the French fleet attacking, and you can see the English fleet amassed to meet them. And also in this picture you can see that Henry VIII's warship, the Mary Rose, sank during this encounter after 34 years of active service. Henry, meanwhile watching from South Sea Common, was powerless to stop the tragedy. It's not known quite why the Mary Rose sank. Was she manoeuvring suddenly? Was she hit by a gust of wind? Was she overloaded and overmanned? What is certain is that she went down with 500 men on board. Because of the anti-boarding nets and because most of them were wearing heavy chainmail jerkins, the majority of them drowned with her. Only around 34 were rescued. For many years, the tops of the ship's masts remained visible at low tide. For 437 years, the Mary Rose lay on the seabed. Amazingly, however, the silt of the Solent preserved the timbers of her starboard side. She was rediscovered in the 19th century and in 1982 heroically raised to the surface. After 37 years of conservation, this is her today, an original Tudor ship on display in a state-of-the-art museum here in Portsmouth. But don't worry, when you come and visit, you won't have to wear a hard hat. We've got special access to be right close to the ship herself. And not only does the ship survive, but the remains of 170 men who were on board and over 19,000 objects. These objects, of course, included weapons for warfare. The Mary Rose was loaded with 91 guns, including handheld weapons, and 39 carriage-mounted guns. The biggest was some 6,000 pounds, a demi-bronze cannon. And I've got an example here. It shows Henry VIII's initials, it shows the date of manufacture, 1535, and it includes a Tudor rose and a fleur-de-lis, because Henry thought he was King of France. Most interestingly of all, the wreck of the Mary Rose serves as a kind of time capsule of ordinary people's lives, because many of the objects on board were personal items belonging to the men on board. So we have things like wooden tankards, we have manicure sets, knit combs, over 250 shoes survive, and although linen doesn't survive, wool and leather does, so we have people's clothes. And we have elements of how they spent their time, so early musical instruments, backgammon sets, and dice. The tragedy of the Mary Rose today gives us a unique insight into the lives of ordinary Tudors living 500 years ago.